Good morning, Sascha. Hello from Bergen. How and where are you?
Oh, Eivind, good to see you. I'm at the moment I'm in Istanbul and I'm enjoying a beautiful first summer day. And now I realizing actually that we are coming closer to our big summer event, Eivind. It's amazing that you could put this together. That's fantastic.
Yeah, we are so happy to finally work together at the same place. I mean, how long have you been working together digitally now? I think it must be already almost 1.5 years, right?
I think so. I think at the beginning of the pandemic, when I started Check the Gate, you were the first one I was calling and say, would you be interested doing an online live interview series on Instagram? And then we started to talk more and more online, and we're sharing all these ideas, including this festival, which is so wonderful that the National Opera of Bergen actually initiated to put into practice something which has the educational part of a festival in the center. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a wonderful. But I was thinking back when I first met you. I mean, first time I saw you conduct, I think you were doing La Bohème at the Wiener Staatsoper, and I was so impressed. And I think I was texting you or tweeting that, my goodness, what a fantastic performance with Sascha Goetzel. And then you responded, and since then we've been kind of in touch. And when we at the same time worked together at the Wiener Staatsoper. I think that was first time we met at the analog, the old-fashioned way in the cantina, I
Exactly.
think, at the Staatsoper.
Exactly. That we analogically hugged each other and we analogically said hello to each other. Yes.
Yeah. Now it's not always you. I mean, both you and I know a lot of conductors, and it's not always you feel like it's to put it that way. I have many good friends who are also conductors, but it's a weird profession we have. We always work by ourselves, and we are spending a lot of time by ourselves studying the scores. And when we are conducting, we are the only conductor in front of the orchestra. But that means that when you meet colleagues, it's even though they are friendly and nice, it's not always you feel that they are, let's say, inviting to have any deeper contact with another colleague, But with you, it was different. I felt instantly that Sascha is someone I can really also consider a friend in the future. And now, after a couple of years, I would really say that you're not only a good colleague, but you're also a good friend, and that's something unique, I would say.
And the same from my side. Yeah, I think we are both old enough, let's say, to have the experience to know conducting is a very demanding job, and we have a lot of pressure on our shoulders, and we're all reacting naturally different. I mean, there is no good or bad, but it's beautiful to meet somebody also like you who is free of choices, free of, friendships, who knows the responsibility on one hand of a modern conductor, because it's a big responsibility, as we know. It's in the modern times has changed a lot. In the old days, a conductor was more like a despotic authority figure, which was not questioned by anybody. But nowadays, they are all basically exchangeable. All conductors are more or less exchangeable, except the old generation. So we have to provide something new, right? We have to be creative. And I always felt with you, I will never forget these long talks when you were the walking conductor in the Norwegian woods, and we had the endless philosophies about everything, and it felt just so wonderful. And we ended up even starting immediately a project together. I think after a couple of months, Talent Norge invited us to do the Be Prepared for the young conductors. It was beautiful, and I think also for the young conductors, what I remember, the first reaction was absolutely fantastic, right? They said, "Oh, we have two different conductors. They have two different point of views, but they have no problem if one of them says, 'No, I do this in 4 and 3. No, I think this can be a little bit more phrasing there,' and the other one says, 'No, actually, I like it more in 2, but the phrase.'" So I think it just shows the beauty of diversity. This is this possibility to have different opinions and to share those opinions. And the music as a language leaves open all these opinions and being human. I think this humanity in the center combines both of us, that we really believe in that so strongly, the values of humanity and the music as the language of the soul, basically, of the composers and of the humans.
No, I completely agree with you, Sascha. And I think also two things they learned from on top of, I hope they learned also a lot of basic stuff from our score studies and conducting lessons. But I think also I've been told so that many young conductors found it interesting that how we obviously learn from each other through the process. And I have to say, I made a lot of notes when you were doing things differently. And interesting. Maybe I could also check that next time. And I was not making my own notes, even though I was also the teacher telling everybody how to do this. And so, and on the other hand, also that we have this fluent process of a friendly communication, which I think is very important for the next generation of of conductors, that they are not making themselves exclusively by themselves and stand together for the arts and the future of classical music. It's more important, and it was easier to be independent and just strong-willed back at Toscanini's times. Now we really have to not only fight for our own career and musicianship, but for the whole existence of the art form. So, which means we have to be together, I think so.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And now actually talking about this kind of what is the importance, we actually can create a festival where in its center is the educational part, but not only just, teaching, but as we both always wanted, really a completeness of a festival, academy, Opera by the Fjord, for all the young students who are interested in the opera business. So from the Kapellmeister to the Korrepetitor, of course, the singers, orchestra musicians, but also in the long term, we want to have the stage directors and the Inspizienten. So actually, we can move even more forward, showing that we are all a big family, right?
Absolutely. And I'm so happy we can unite our ideas. Man, you asked me at some point during my walking conductor walks, and we had the discussions, we should create something more, something analog adventure together after this pandemic. And you wanted to, why don't we start the music festival somewhere? And I was thinking, okay, we already was thinking a little bit of having an opera academy in the west of Norway. And to unite these two ideas and to have you with us from the very beginning when we are doing this for the first time, and we will see how this can develop, as you say, in the future to include all disciplines of the opera world. I'm so happy we already this year can have 11 fantastic young gifted singers, 2 conducting students, and 16 instrumentalists joining us. And I don't know how it's in Austria, but from Norwegian perspective, this is a quite unique project. But I think this is the only summer project where you unite opera singers and orchestra musicians and perform together. For most opera academies are with piano accompaniment only, and most orchestra academies are purely symphonic music, where you play your Mahler symphony, fantastic things, of course. But to have an opera academy in Scandinavia, or at least in Norway, that's the first time I think we unite these two. How is it in Austria?
It's the same. I mean, we have, of course, opera academies, and then we have workshops. We have orchestra workshops, many orchestra workshops for young students, but it's the same. This combination is quite unique. And also, I remember when we were both talking, we were sharing a little bit the ideas. Also internationally, we could not find actually many of these kind of concepts, which are really combining this instrumental part, the singing part, then also the acting part, which we want so much that we have also directors, assistant directors in the future, the Inspizient part, which is really a part nobody sees. Usually the person is behind the stage, but one of the most important person, because actually you are the one, didn't you conduct the Tosca in Vienna when after this whole process was with Angela Georgiev and Jonas Kaufmann, and she didn't come on stage, and because that's the Inspizient part, right? Yeah. So it's actually the person who says to the singer, now you have to go on stage. So I think it's really fascinating and beautiful.
Yeah. No, luckily I was not conducting the performance when she did not come back, but I was conducting the first performance where they were uniting after this, and I was happy they all did what they should at this time. I'm so happy we can have two fantastic capacities from Austria and Norway joining us this summer too. From Norway, we have invited Solveig Kringlebotn, who is one of our most beloved and great singers of the last decades. And she will teach and inspire the singers with us. And Sascha, tell us about who we have invited from Vienna.
Kristin Åkerlund, she's a long-term friend, but not only friend. She's really one of the sources of knowledge of the Wiener Staatsoper. She has been Korrepetitor at the Wiener Staatsoper for over 20 years, as far as I know. She has worked with the greatest singers and the greatest conductors together in the complete repertoire. And next to that, she's an amazing pianist who really makes the piano sound like an orchestra, which, also for our festival, I thought is so important because it's a different way, being a vocal coach, a pianist, as a big opera house, how you play the piano. It's for us conductors, and we will have now time in summer to tell this also to the singers and the young conductors. For us conductors, it's completely different how a piano coach is playing during the musical rehearsals, because the more orchestral the pianist is playing, the better for the musical rehearsal, because everything gets smooth from the beginning. Because a piano, through the direct touch and the sound production, is not like the orchestra. And the singers, if they get too much used to it, they think that this will be actually also on stage. But on stage, everything is a little bit more smooth. There is more space in between, because the orchestra instrument is the conductor's instrument is actually the orchestra. So there is a little bit of a waiting moment to listen to each other, and the singers, especially the young ones, have to be aware of it. It's very different to make music with an orchestra than to make music with a piano. And Opera by the Fjord definitely is one of the great moments now for the young singers, for probably the first time having the opportunity to sing and perform with an orchestra and not with
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the points where we want to make this academy different from the others, that there's not only a master class with a pianist, vocal coach, or a vocal teacher, but a united masterclass with conductor and vocal coach together, where they will see the whole process, how to work with the conductor from the beginning with the pianist, how to respond to movement, how to communicate your ideas with your voice and your body language, to communicate where you want with the phrase, and how comfortable you are with the tempo, etc. And of course, how to fit in an ensemble where with the others, and to sound with others, and in the last part, of course, how to move this, which you are describing greatly, Sascha, to take this from the piano to the orchestra, which is not an easy process, even sometimes for professional singers, especially if they are role debuting and they are used to something, and then moving it into the different space. Yeah, it's something about the space of the sound, and I'm so looking forward to see how these young singers will respond to these, and how we. And again, I'm looking forward to learn from you, from Kristin, from Solveig, to the whole process of talking together about your passion and your profession, but also to show them that this is an ongoing process of learning. It's not something you become a professor and then you have the answers to everything. You're continuously trying to develop and improve yourself, and that's the beauty of our art form. So
absolutely, and thank you so much for saying this. Likewise, you know that I can't wait to join your classes to see how you're approaching to solve the problems and to put it together and then to create something new. And also I have to say that I love the place. You talked about space. As we know, the compositions are always a certain reflections of the soul of the composers, of their environment at that time. And I was so grateful and happy that you and the Opera by the Fjord is really now an environment with the fjord, and we have this amazing ship what you found, where actually the young people already there could breathe this environment and then actually put it into practice when they are performing. So I think altogether it's such a unique experience. I mean, there is no other festival in the world, Academy festival, which provides this circle of energies from the environment to basically the students and conductor, music director, and coaches and Solveig, to have all together mixed in an incredible form of language, of speech on stage. It's fantastic.
Mm. Yeah, this ship MS Sunderland is from my island. It's Stord. I'm so happy we could have them with us. It's driven by a group of passionate veterans, and it used to be actually a warship during the Second World War, and then after this, there's been commuting between Bergen and Stord, the island I grew up, and then it was for a time it also was in Finland, and now it's back to Norway as I think kind of a hotel ship or event ship. So I'm looking so much forward to this environmental part of it, where we can be together, and everybody will live on this ship, and we will eat, and we will even have sessions and small concerts on the ship. So this is, I hope and think this will be really an important part of the atmosphere we want to create, not only opera by the fjord, but literally opera at the fjord. So
it's amazing. And it's also this Fitzgerald or Klaus Kinski, what we both have the dream, where Klaus Kinski takes the boat and goes into the jungle and plays the opera for people who never could experience opera before in an opera house, and he plays it on the ship. And of course, this is a real dream coming true, that actually, you know, maybe one day we can take the opera on the ship and we go to the fjords and we play opera in places where there never have been played opera before. Even nature has not heard opera before on those places.
Now that would be something we should investigate for the future academies. Yeah. Definitely. The showboat comes to your harbor.
The opera boat.
The opera boat, yeah, exactly.
You have some information also about the instrumentalists. We talked about Solveig, we talked about Kristin, for the singers, for the conductors, for us. But how is it about instrumentalists? We also want to give a chance to the young instrumentalists to actually learn from top professionals. What is the specialty to play opera, to accompany an opera, right?
Yeah. Yes, we were thinking a lot how to make this interesting for them, because obviously it's if you are a gifted instrumentalist, it's very natural that you apply for a course where you can play your Mahler symphony and or Strauss Heldenleben or something, and I completely understand that. So we have to find a different approach, and I think what we can offer them now is two things which are quite unique. One of them is that we have all the professional, the faculty, the teachers are playing with them. So we have concertmaster and all the sectional leaders of the rest of the string groups are all professional, and also a couple of winds and brass and timpani. And all of them are experienced opera orchestra musicians, which are also very crucial for our profile, I would say. And because it's a different thing to play in an opera orchestra. It's to really be a listening kind of. I mean, there are several things that we can say is different. One of them is the fluidity of the repertoire. We have a quite extensive repertoire for the project, and the young instrumentalists really will have to work hard to cope with this. We have not more rehearsing time than we would have with a professional opera orchestra, so they will really real-time experience how it is in opera life to just nail the repertoire. Bang, 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 bang. The singers come in, and they will have to adapt to this, what they hear, and how to play together with open ears. Or as Carlos Kleiber say, spielen Sie mit den Ohren. Also really to play with your ears in a way, yes. which I think for the best opera orchestras is so amazing. When you see this happens, as for instance with the Wiener Staatsoper Orchestra, you can just feel that they are on the stage with their instruments sometimes. Absolutely. It's an amazing process, and to hopefully create some moments where they will will experience this and be inspired and think that, oh my goodness, I want to play in an opera orchestra when I'm finished with my studies and etc.
It's magic, no? It's when you trust your ear, when you give one ear just to the singers, to accompany, and the other ear to the orchestra to be together. It's really a magic experience, and this is what we want to create for them. And even in COVID time, we could make it happen because we were so worried. But I think that we found a beautiful solution. We also have special arranged the pieces, so the orchestra is not too big, so we can really do the festival, the Academy this year. But we wanted to give this strong signal that yes, we can do this even in difficult times, even in challenging times, but the music, art and culture will continue.
Exactly. And you had a wonderful idea, Sascha, about how another event for the instrumentalists about training their auditioning process and experience. Can you tell us a little bit about the idea?
Well, I've been a violist myself, as you know, and done many auditions, and I know how important it is actually to prepare in a special way for auditions, because you have sometimes fantastic talents and they really are great players, but when it comes to the audition where they only have 5, 10, maximum 15 minutes in the first round to show their qualities, then they need 5, 7 minutes to get inside of that audition mode. And then sometimes it's too late because the people behind the curtain, they are tired and they are just making their marks very technically. So actually sometimes one of the best or maybe 3, 4 of the best people which are participating in the audition are not making it to the second round. And this is a pity for both sides, for the orchestras and also, of course, for the individual players. So I wanted to initiate also for the instrumentalists to have actually a free audition, which means there will be not judging, they will be just reflecting. So which means also to a little bit, I will talk about what to focus on before you go on this audition stage, because it's a different setup than when you do a concert. What you shall focus on, how you're creating in that moment when you go on stage the right place where you are in the perfect balance of your mind and the control of your instrument. So there are a lot of things you can actually initiate because our nervous system can be trained. We can see this in sport very well, like in Formula 1, where everything is in milliseconds spaces, that actually when you are training your nervous system to have with your reflexes a certain direction of reference, then slowly you're getting into a peak performance, not only for 1 minute or 2 minutes, but even for 15, 20 minutes or 1 hour. And this is a certain, we call it the zone actually. This is a certain zone where you're almost more observing yourself while letting your inside energy speak and your mind are actually totally aware what you do. And this kind of balance is what we need to create when we do the audition actually. It's a very different kind of zone when you are performing a live performance, a concert. You have to enter a different zone. So this is what we want to talk about. We want to give the instrumentalists and the singers, of course, the chance to do an audition, a live audition, where we reflecting first of all of their overall performance. And then I will talk a little bit how to train your nervous system for the future, that when you go out there, you are in the right zone. And then basically nothing can happen. You can just learn.
So it's a wonderful program we have put together for the concert, and maybe a little bit more music that we first intended. But on the other hand, we have 11 soloists, and we want all of them to have their own aria. And on top of that, there's so many amazing duets and tercets, and I'm particularly, I must say, happy that we are daring to challenge the young singers with a terzetto from the finale of the Rosenkavalier Strauss. That's yeah, as you know, that was the music Strauss himself ordered for his funeral, and it's been my favorite music since I was a student. And I was remember when I was living in Vienna by myself, and had a bad day or something, I would just put on the video and with the opening of the Rosenkavalier with Carlos Kleiber, and I was smiling, and life could go on. That was just
it is like
but except for that, we have quite a few well, one of the pieces we decided first to have on the show, Sascha, was tell us about that. It was your suggestion to do something from Figaro.
Well, I mean, you know, at the terzetto, I'm so happy that we will do it for the young singers. It's really, as you said, something else. And I have to say, now the program is clear, so we will really go from bel canto to verismo, and also Richard Strauss is considered a kind of avant-garde, even when there are Baroque elements in Rosenkavalier. But especially terzetto is high romantic avant-garde, we can say. And for me personally, it was so important to involve the, let's say, most perfect ensemble piece ever written, which is for me the finale 2 of Le Nozze di Figaro by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. The way the protagonists come on stage, the way they have to interact with each other, that every soloist has the moment where they can sing solo actually in this finale, but then have to come back in the ensemble and the voices match each other, because only as an ensemble they will sound well, not as individual voices. This basically is the element of creating a Mozart ensemble. When a young ensemble can sing Le Nozze di Figaro finale really well, finale number 2, you have created, as a young conductor and also the singers know, a Mozart ensemble sound. And this belongs, as we both know, to one of the highest forms of art. When you have a great Mozart ensemble in any house in the world, it is a sign of quality. It is really that you shine this ambivalence of the figures in Mozart. When the Mozart opera started at the beginning, we never know, is this person a good person or a bad person? Is it somebody who is human or very evil? It's in all Mozart operas the same. It's also for the female and the male voices. So this ambivalence of a voice, of a character in the opera is, in my opinion, best shown in the Mozart characters. And the finale number 2, where basically all the main characters are changing constantly the direction, that they are good. No, I'm not good. Oh, I'm lying. Oh, no, I'm saying the truth, actually. This is one of the master examples in the world of opera for a young singer. So this is why it was my big wish to take this masterpiece and master it at the Opera by the Fjord this summer.
Wonderful. And on top of that, we have quite a few beautiful arias, and we are putting it in small little blocks of different sections of the different styles. We're starting off with some music by Bizet from Carmen, and we also have a part of a bel canto music, and then we are ending actually with this finale 2 from Figaro. I think it will be an exciting program, and we will actually have to work pretty hard to make them all get through this repertoire. So, so opera life is in practice. This is what the Academy will be in many ways. I feel, and looking so much forward to. So.
As Bernstein said, you always have to have a huge knowledge and a little bit not enough time to create some beautiful things. And this is exactly what we will have.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, fantastic. So happy to talk to you about this, Sascha. I'm looking so much forward to analogy, in an analog way, to welcome you to Bergen. And let's cross fingers that it's no more different variations of delta or epsilon part or something coming, and in a way that we will all be able to gather in Oceana, south of Bergen, in the middle of August, and then we will be online from the ship and from Oceana, and we will send some teasers to the rest of the world from this beautiful academy.
Absolutely. I can't wait. And even with the other variants, we will all get vaccinated and we will all take the COVID measures necessary. But we want to meet to make music. We want to meet to do art and culture together for everybody. So I can't wait really to do this, Eivind. So happy to see you soon.
Thanks, Zen.
Thank you. Ciao, Eivind.
Ciao.